Well, welcome from the church building of St Paul's Church, Ansdell and Fairhaven. My name's Paul, I'm the vicar here. And this Sunday, Sunday the 5th of July, there will be a service of public worship at 10:30 a.m. We announced that news in line with the restrictions being gradually lifted by the government, and we give great thanks for the ability to be able to begin to meet together as a church family here at St Paul's. It's been something like 16 Sundays since we were all together, and that is a huge time, and meeting together as God's people is a precious and a vital thing. Of course, we fully realise that our public health emergency is far from over, and so as well as joyous news, there is still sadness and understandably anxiety too. This is a time to work hard to protect one another and to look after one another really well. And myself, the church wardings, the standing committee of the PCC have thoroughly sought to risk assess the reopening, not just of private prayer as we have had for a few weeks, but for a service of public worship. We will deliberately be taking baby steps, and the first service will be a smaller service of 20 and no more than 25 people, about 40 to 45 minutes length. And it is hoped that that will be the beginning of us being able to obviously gradually develop our patterns of worship as a church family again. It's really important to say at this time that each of us needs to reflect on whether it is right for us to return or not. For some of us, it will not be right, perhaps because we are shielding or because of other risk factors in our lives or circumstances. And we need to say that there is no pressure on anyone to return or not to return. We have sought to make it as safe as possible to meet together in this smaller, simplified format. But of course, nothing is risk-free at this time. And so we ask every individual just to prayerfully reflect on what is the right thing for that. There will be a number of measures in place to make sure that we protect each other, and so it will mean our services for a while are not what we're used to. They may feel restricted in some ways, but those social distancing measures and other procedures that we put in place are really there to protect one another and love one another. And after this little welcome video, there will be some sort of instructions about some of the things you can expect in terms of returning to St Paul's that we hope you will helps make things useful for you, causing you to reflect and decide for yourselves. We fully recognise some won't be able to return, and that will be absolutely the right thing for that, and we fully support you in that. And so we hope, God willing, to live stream the service on our YouTube page at 10:30 on Sunday. And if that doesn't quite work, well, we'll record it and then put it up on our YouTube page not long after the service. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me at the vicarage. But I hope the information that follows this video will be helpful to you. With all our love from everyone at St Paul's, God bless. And whether we're able to see you this Sunday or at some point in the future, all our love and take care. Thank you.
Our service on Sunday will begin at 10:30 a.m. sharp. But the church building will be open from 10:15 a.m. till 10:28 to allow us to enter, and we ask if possible that you space out your time of arrival. On the way in, you will be met by one of our welcomers who may be wearing a face covering and will give you a warm welcome. If there are people before you seeking to enter the church building, please queue using the cones which are spaced at 2 meters to enable us to queue safely at the right distance. On the way in, there is a hand sanitizer station, and we ask that you apply this to your hands. As you enter the building, we will have a one-way system up the main aisle and then back down the side aisle. As you head up the main aisle and the side aisle, we ask that you walk to the left-hand side of the aisle. On the sides of the pews are yellow arrows to remind you of the one-way system. They also act as 2-meter markers. As you walk up, you will see that some aisles have chairs blocking them. These are pews that we will not be using to enable us to stay 2 meters from each other. Please do not sit in one of these pews. When you find a pew that does not have a chair at the entrance, you will notice that there are yellow markers within the pews. These markers show you where it is safe to sit so that you will be at least 2 meters from the aisle. There will be pews available in the central block of pews and also on the left-hand side. When you come to sit down, please move through the pew and try not to touch it if at all possible. In the central pews, these are suitable for households of more than one person, and you can sit between the yellow markers. They are also suitable for 2 separate individuals from different households. If individuals sit in line with the yellow markers, they will be 2 meters from each other and from the aisles. On the left-hand side, that is suitable for households of more than one person or a single individual. We will remain in our pews for the service. We sadly won't be able to be singing, but there will be music that we can listen to reflect on. Our responses will be said, and we ask that these are not said in a raised voice. We will be sharing communion during the service for those that wish to. There is absolutely no compulsion to receive communion, and if you don't wish to, please simply stay seated in your pew. We will have a one-way system, beginning in the central pews at the back, and 1 pew at a time will come up the main aisle, remembering to walk on the left-hand side, and the first person will see a white mark on the floor where they are to stand to receive communion. If they fully extend their hands in front of them, Paul the vicar will administer them communion in one kind, a wafer. He will be wearing gloves and a face covering, and he will extend his hands fully to give you the wafer. When you've received, please move to your right-hand side and then back down the side aisle, remembering to stay on the left-hand side, round the back of the pews and to your seat. At the end of the service, we will leave the church building 1 pew at a time, and the leader of the service will show you or tell you when to do that. On the way out, we will leave by the west door. A register of who attended the service will be taken to enable us to comply with track and trace, and these will be held securely for 21 days. If you're new to us, you're very welcome, but if we don't have your fuller details on our parish list, we will ask you to fill out your details for that track and trace record. On the way out, please put hand sanitizer on, and unfortunately we won't be able to stay around to talk or to have refreshments at this time, so we ask that you leave the building as soon as possible. We hope that this gives you more information. Please don't hesitate to be in touch. Many thanks.